Shrim Saraswate Namaha. Om Shri Guruve Namaha. Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrasham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Sadgurum Tam Namami. Adorations to the Divine Preceptor, who is the bliss of Brahman, the giver of supreme joy, the embodiment of pure consciousness, beyond the pairs of opposites, vast like the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond all modifications. To that divine Guru I offer my adorations. We offer our adorations. Our humble Sashtang pranams at the holy lotus feet of Pujya Gurudev, Pujya Shri Swami Jyotirmayananda Ji Maharaj of Yoga Research Foundation, Miami, Florida. Thank you, Gurudev. Thank you for so much that you have bestowed upon us. Katha Upanishad, translated into English, The Mystery of the Soul, by Pujya Gurudev Shri Swami Jyotirmayananda Ji Maharaj. Chapter 2, Section 2, Mantra number 3, maybe 4, 5 and 6. So mantra number 3, Lord Yama bestows his blessings upon Nachiketa to answer his third question for the third boon, and says, seated in the middle of the body, that is in the heart, that which leads the prana upwards and apana downwards. So prana upwards, the air that you burp or something, and prana, the gas that gets out from the downward movement. That supremely worshipful Atman is adored by all the gods. So that prana sits in the middle of the heart and works with the lungs, and prana is the one that helps the for the movement of everything in the body, the air, the blood. So prana moves upwards and apana moves downwards. That supremely worshipful Atman is adored by all the gods. So seated in the middle of the heart is our soul that leads the prana upwards and apana downwards. So that's what Lord Yama is teaching Nachiketas. Then mantra number 4, abiding in the body when it moves from one body to another during death. So this is what gets out of your body, that your body is called dead. So after it leaves the body, that Atman leaves the body and moves on to another one during death. So what is left? That is the self you have asked for. In mantra number 5, mortal beings do not live by prana or by apana, but by another, the self. That self, that Atman, is the cause of the movement of the prana and apana, in which these two find their refuge. So, the prana and apana abides in the self. Mantra number 6. O Gautama, that means descendant of sage Gautama. So he calls Nachiketa as O Gautama, that means he's the descendant of sage Gautama. So this is another thing like Gotra. When we say Gotra, what is your Gotra? That means your ancestors and you have descended from one of the Rishi Munis, the Sapta Rishis. So all those Sapta Rishis, whatever lineage comes through those Sapta Rishis, the 7 Rishis, the initial, the first Rishis, then it's called the lineage, Gotra in Hindi. I will again explain to you the eternal secret pertaining to Brahman and the manner in which the soul exists after death. So this is the essence where Lord Yama is going to tell us how does, why, and in which manner does the soul exist, still exists. When we say soul is eternal, so here it is that the soul exists in which manner after death. So in these mantras, Lord Yama gives some practical hints to help one ascertain the nature of the self. The self is the support of the pranas. When we say pran nikal gaya, atma nikal gaya, that means it's gone out of the body. The prana is gone out of the body. So the general idea that the life of a human being is sustained by the pranas is wrong, because even these pranas, of which prana and apana are most important, there are other types of pranas, but the prana and apana are the most important. Even these pranas are not self-sustained realities. They can't sustain on their own. And when we say prana nikal gaya and the body is now dead, so they are not on their own. So, of which prana are not self-sustained realities, they are sustained by consciousness or Atman. Remember the Atman and Paramatman? So, Atman is the consciousness, whereas Paramatman is the supreme consciousness. So, Atman abiding in the body, consciousness within you and individual level, and then supreme consciousness is the outward in the universe, belonging to everyone, tapping from there. An aspirant seeks to understand that cosmic will, which operates through the pranic functions. So, we aspirants, we want to understand, we seek to understand that cosmic will which operates through the pranic functions. Further, he discovers the cosmic will proceeding from the absolute self through Maya or cosmic illusion. Brahman is the ultimate source of life and breath. So, everything trickles down from the Brahman, the cosmic consciousness. So Brahman is the ultimate source of life and breath. The self should not be sought by externalized movements of the mind. It must be discovered by turning the mind to the heart. That is why we say go to your heart, go within. So turning the mind to the heart, to discover that, turn your mind to the heart, to a state of profound internalization. You will not find that outwards. So a symbolic meditation is given to aid this internalized movement of the mind. So we just use a prop. When we say put a flower, light a candle and gaze at it. So from external, then you close your eyes, you go internal. So that light or candle or the flower or anything that you are meditating upon, that becomes a prop that supports you to go internal. So it is meditation upon the thumb-shaped hollow of the heart and a visualization of the unfading light of the self abiding in this narrow region. So remember we talked about the thumb-sized hollow in the heart, and that unfading light dwells in there, which is the Atman, and we have to go internal, tap into that light, tap into that source. It's so effulgent that it can spread onto your entire heart and body, and then you can spread it outwards also. The self is abiding in this narrow region. However, it must be understood that though the self abides in the limits of one's heart, it is the same universal self which is adored by all the gods in heaven. So there's nothing different. Speaking subjectively, the self, which is the innermost reality of one's heart, is the sustainer of the senses and the mind. By seeking the source of the senses, mind and pranas, one is led to realize the self. So seek the source of the senses, mind and pranas, and that will lead you to realize the self. When the pranas leave the body, the latter becomes lifeless. That means the body becomes lifeless. However, the power to turn the body lifeless does not belong to the pranas. Pranas don't determine that. It's your death time now. So, who does it belong to? It belongs to the self. It belongs to the Atman, into which the pranas merge. So these pranas merge into the Atman. Human beings, therefore, are sustained by the self, the Atman, which is other than the pranas. It's not the pranas. However, it is important to understand the nature of the incarnating soul and the manner in which it exists, after death, in order to have a clear understanding of the self that is beyond birth and death. So to understand that there is the soul that is eternal, it's beyond birth and death. It just gets a covering. From one covering to another covering, one shell to another shell, one ship to another ship, until liberated, until self-realized. Mantra number 7. According to both its karmas from the past and its vasanas, subtle desires. Vasanas are our subtle desires. You don't know it's there, but all of a sudden it will fructify. And it can be from your past and past lives also. So that is why they say if you desire something, get it fulfilled, or uproot it, that you don't want it anymore, because that can be a cause of another birth. So any desire you have, surrender to the Lord. And then once you realize, you say, okay, if Lord wants it, it will happen. Otherwise, I don't want it. On my own, I don't desire, because I want to be liberated. So, oh Lord, up to you. It came in my thought. It's not a desire that I really want to fulfill. So it's yours. And any positive desire, the desire of wanting to be self-realized, this is a positive desire. It's okay to desire that and walk on that path. But a time comes when you say, oh Lord, again, even this self-realization is yours. I can't do it on my own. It's only when you bless, I have the authority to perform the karmas, and I will continue until you bless whatever you want to bless me with. So based upon previous austerities, practice of good association, and study of scriptures, the individual soul is led to different embodiments. So very clear, Lord Yama is saying here, whatever you performed in your past birth is the cause. That karma that you created is the cause of your next birth or liberation. Next birth means assuming another embodiment. Some souls incarnate in movable forms, that means animals, and some in immovable forms, that means plants and trees. So based on your karma, if you deserve to be born as a human being into a higher family, based on your karmas, good karmas, that will happen. If you did bad karmas, you accumulated bad karmas, you might, but not that bad, so you might become still human being, but into a family where there is poverty or where there is hardship. And if you did really bad job, bad karmas, then not necessarily that you will get human embodiment. There are 84 million species. You can become one of them until you serve your sentence. It's like being hospitalized. You get treated and then you are sent home. Then you are discharged. So you can become animals, you can become worms, you can become birds, you can become a king also in a higher elevation. So it's all up to you. And you can also become immovable like plants and big trees. Imagine these big trees, they stay alive for how many years? Many, many, many years. It has got prana, that's why we say the plant is alive. So karmas are of three types: virtuous, vicious, and mixed. Led by virtuous karmas, the souls ascend to the heights of evolution. With the increasing predominance of virtue, a soul can rise to the glory of Hiranyagarbha, the cosmic mind. It can become even the cosmic mind, because there are many universes. They say there are 7 universes, 7 lokas up, 7 lokas down, total 14. Down means into lower level. Patal, Bhutal, Saratal, I don't remember offhand all of them, but there are 7 below the earth plane and 7 above the earth plane. including the above one includes the earth plane. So total with the earth is 7, and there are 7 below the earth plane. So the cosmic mind, with the increasing predominance of vice, the soul can descend into lower forms of existence, even down to the level of a blade of grass. Human embodiment is the result of a mixture of virtue and vice. So within the human, it's again categorized based on the karmas into what type of family you are born in. Further, the individual soul is led to different embodiments driven by the force of vasanas, subtle desires. Again, vasanas means subtle desires. If sinfulness predominates one's mind, the soul is led from vice to a greater vice. That means if the mind, the thoughts always come in a sinful way, like wanting to hurt somebody, wanting to do some crime, so these are like sinful thoughts. And if that desire remains there, just say you develop such a bad enemy that you always want to do harm that enemy. Maybe that enemy doesn't know, and that enemy does not have animosity against you. Only you think of that person like that, and you want to keep that person as your enemy. So it's your problem. It's in your mind. That is your subtle desire, that you want to hurt that person, and it is a negative desire. So it remains in your mind, and this sinful predominates your mind. So the soul in that case is led from vice to a greater vice, so worse situation. So in the same way, when good vasanas operate in an individual, he is led from virtue to greater virtue. So you ascend, you do go a higher level, better higher level. So good vasanas are generated on the basis of spiritual discourses and various forms of good association, something that you are doing now. Though the incarnating soul continues to embody itself in different forms, yet the deeper reality of the soul continues to be unaffected. The essential nature of every incarnating soul is the Supreme Self or Brahman. Thus, the question, what happens to the soul after death, is profoundly understood by realizing the truth behind the incarnating soul, that is Brahman and Absolute. That is the truth. The soul incarnates but does not reach Brahman, even though the soul is absolute, but it does not reach the absolute state to merge with the Brahman. So, if you don't, then you keep on taking another covering until the karmas are such that you deserve to be liberated. Okay, so we will conclude here at mantra number 7. It's getting very interesting, but it seems like I have to put a break here because we are approaching Mother Worship, and for 10 days we will have 10 days or maybe 12 days, because prior to Navratri I would like to introduce you to the mysticism of Devi Mahatmya. That again is in English by Gurudev, Pujya Shri Swami Jyotirmayananda Ji Maharaj. And in this mysticism of Devi Mahatmya, you learn and you learn on how to or learn to worship God as mother, the female energy, Ma Shakti. So it's very important to know that it's not about only slaying the enemies, the demons outside, but it's also about inside. What does it mean? It is about uprooting the vices you have inside you, the negativities, the demons that you have inside you, which are calm, the desires, growth, the anger, lobh, the greed, moha, the attachment, matsarya. So these are enemies that dwell inside us, and we have to uproot those enemies with the help of the blessings of Mother, Divine Mother. So then we will continue with this Katha Upanishad after Mother worship. Om Hari Om Tat Sat. Let's humbly bow down and pray for all beings, and pray for the departed souls and all souls that are around and have not ascended. They are stuck somewhere. May these punyas reach these souls, and may they ascend and reach the abode of Lord Narayana. Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Astu. Punyam Arpanam Astu. Shri Krishna Arpanam Astu. For all our ancestors, Bhavana is the most important. You can take the names, or you can pray with those names, and you can also say for every soul. And never pray with any doubts. Our scriptures tell us the truth. So if you have doubts, don't even pray to this stage. Please do not have any doubts in our scriptures. This Upanishad is telling us about the souls. What happens? There is life. The soul is eternal. There is another embodiment if you do not deserve to be liberated. And you can always help others, other souls, to move forward. With these punyas, their papa karmas are dissolved, slowly but surely. That's why we do every year, because we really don't know. Even if they're in another embodiment, they will still receive the blessings, and they will be better in that embodiment. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukha bhag bhavet, samasta lokaha sukhino bhavantu, asato ma sadagamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Divine love, light, healing, bliss, peace, prosperity, auspiciousness to each one of you and your near and dear ones. This is Swami Lalita Priyananda from Sacramento, California. Hari Om Tat Sat.